Hello and happy Monday. How is everybody today? I hope you had a great weekend and I hope it's sunny where you are. It is sunny here in Michigan, and I'm going to tell you, we needed it. It's been gray for quite a while, so I hope that it is warm. Well, it's winter, but warm comparatively, and that you are safe and that it is sunshiny out there. I hope that you're having all of that stuff. Listen, I can't see who else here, so drop a comment in the chat. Tell me where you're at this morning. Angie, great to see you all. Welcome to Mindset Monday. There's Kayla, where independent patient advocates like us get together to start our week with positivity and inspiration. My name is Nicole Broadhurst, and this is my co-host, Kayla Thompson-Riviere.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! It is great to be here this morning. We have a great our pillar today is all about perspective and empathy and compassion and communication. And so I'm really excited to talk about this quote. It is, leadership is not being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. And of course, those of you that know me, Simon Sinek, thank you very much. Our fourth quarter book for the Advocates Book Nook was Start With Why by Simon Sinek. So close to my heart. And if you're not there, we're reading Think and Grow Rich this quarter by Napoleon Hill. So if you're a reader, join us. We only read one book a quarter, so it's nice and slow and easy. Back to this. Kayla, how are you?
I am getting over some ick.
Ooh.
I'm sure
Hey,
I
I
sound
saw that you
beautiful.
had your ribbon cutting on Friday or
Yes.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Congratulations
Yeah.
on that.
Thank you. I think that's where I got this.
I was wondering because there was a lot of people.
There
There
was a
was a
lot of
lot of
people.
people.
Yeah.
That was great. It looked like it was a lot of fun. So yay.
It was really good.
Excellent. Good deal. All right. So what do you think? I know
I love
Jill thinks,
this.
I know. Talk about
I
that.
mean, I know, stark difference from last week.
Right?
For
If
those
you
who
haven't
weren't
heard
with
this,
us
you should
last
go
week,
check it out.
Nicole read the quote and she was like, I love this quote. I was like, I don't. But honestly, I can't help but get a little meta with it. But it goes so much further than leadership. It really, in
Right.
my opinion, underpins like the philosophy of just living life. And it's really interesting. Referencing my ribbon cutting ceremony, I had a couple people kind of show up at the last minute with who brought helping hands and really helped me to pull everything
Okay.
together, because I had like 50 people RSVP'd. I knew there were some coming that hadn't RSVP'd, so I made food for 60 and had it all like individually portioned, so we weren't like, communally touching everything, so people don't get sick. We see how well that worked out. But all of that to say, it was a lot of prep that had to be done right before
Yes.
people came. And two of the people who showed up to help, I wasn't expecting. And I
Oh,
had some reflection afterwards, and I was sharing with my husband that him and I are both givers. And we freely give our time and energy and thoughts and whatever else to everyone around us. And the majority of the time, we are kind of surrounded by takers. And that's just the balance of life. It doesn't stop us from giving freely because it's in alignment for us and
mhm.
the way that we live. And like I've mentioned before, I sleep well at night. But it was
Yes.
really interesting because I also strongly believe that like what you put out will come back to you. And stepping into this business owner role and really digging into my community and growing my local network, I'm starting to actually connect with other givers, and I'm starting to see those things come back to me. Yeah. And it's interesting because of course, like that was never like the intention, this isn't strategic or manipulative. Like that was never what I was trying to get out of people. But it's interesting to see that the waves that I've been putting out for years are starting to return.
This is so beautiful, Kayla. This is so beautiful. My heart is like so full. Um, because this really is the core message that I try to share with advocates every single day. Um, as we shift into this work of entrepreneurs and we step into these roles of sales and marketing and all of the things, the core of who we are will carry us. And it's so funny because I know for me, when I transitioned into this, I was afraid of it. I was actually afraid of my servant heart in this role because I thought, and the world told me, and some
Mm-hmm.
people in my life told me too, right? Like some key people in my life told me, don't give too much.
Right.
Nobody will buy anything if you give it all away for free. And what I have learned over the years and what you just shared is that no, I can show up authentically me and do all of the things that are intuitive and in alignment with my soul, and the universe does give back.
Yeah.
It does. It
Usually not in the way that you thought.
right. No, and sometimes in ways better than you could ever
Yeah.
imagine. Um, and sometimes in weird ways. Let's be real. But
Yeah.
the core of it is that we can take this servant heart. And I would venture to say that most of us in advocacy have this servant heart. Otherwise, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
my experience has been that most of us that get into healthcare, that's why. Like
Right. Right.
literally at the core is we want to help people. And
Right.
I love this. And it is about taking care of people and giving and helping. And, you know, it's not about the return. Yeah, sure, there's going to be a return. That's the natural order of the universe is that, I get what I put out, it comes back to me. But the core reason goes back to our why. Like do what you do
Right.
because you do
For
it.
and I think what you're saying there is there is going to be a return. Don't get fixated on that and don't let it be the driver of your actions.
Yes, 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 yes. I get
Yeah.
asked a lot of times by you all, Nicole, you do this community, there's so much here for free. Why do you do that? And this is the answer because
Mm-hmm.
I'm called to do it. I'm I love it. I enjoy it. I love watching y'all come in and doing these things. So it's just the right thing for me to do.
Yeah, it's
To have
interesting. I
fun.
had like a similar discussion. For those who don't know, this is not my house. This is not mine. I am in my local center for entrepreneurship, which I didn't know was a thing, but apparently they're all over the country. So, side note, you may want to see if you have one near you because there may be resources there for you to help you with your business. End plug. Okay. Um, but when I
I
got
love
in
it.
this program, one of the discussions that came up quite a few times with my mentor was about my podcast and how my podcast, I put a lot of time in it and what's the ROI on that. And my thing has always been it's not I never started the podcast, which podcast we have paused recording and it's now live in person sessions, which is going really well. But the goal was never to see dollars come from it, but more that it came from an internal drive that people need this information. And when I say people, I mean the individual consumers of the healthcare
Yes.
system, the patients, the people that we as advocates serve. They need this information. That's why I literally titled it How to Survive Healthcare. And I know that in time, I'm sure that dollar oh no, am I frozen? It never
Um,
freezes on a good point.
I know, right? I'm so sorry. Well, we can hear you.
Oh, well
You're
that's
showing
good.
up. There you go. Yeah.
But I feel confident that in time there will be a dollar number of ROI on that. But
Sure.
that wasn't the driver. That wasn't the goal. That's not the metric. It's about taking care of the people in my community, whether those people directly can pay me or not. And if some of, there may be a time where I'm doing these, talks and people are hearing them and maybe it will turn into clients. That's okay too. But that's, again, not the outright goal.
Right. Right. And that's not the immediate return. So, right. So there's so much here because the truth is, and I'm just verbalizing what I hope everybody in our community feels here is that, none of this work really is dollar driven. Right. I mean, the truth is, yeah, I need to pay my bills. Yes, I need to buy groceries. Yes, I need to survive. But that's not why we're doing what we're doing. What most of us, the driver is,
Oh,
the stuff is crazy, insane. And we just want to help people navigate through it the best with the best possible outcomes, the best possible experience, all of those things. And none of that is dollar. All of that is soul fulfilling, right? And
right.
driving us as human beings. And yeah. And it's interesting too, Kayla, because the other thing that you were talking about in regards to your ribbon cutting is that when we show up and do these things, when we, lead from our heart and do things because we believe that they are right and in alignment with who we are, um, the right people seem to show up.
Yes. Oh my God. It's like you took the words right out of my brain, Nicole.
Like how cool is that? Like the right people just tend to show up and
Yeah, see,
get
that's another
involved.
thing. Yeah, we've talked about the power of authenticity before, but that's
Mhm.
just another thing that really comes to mind here. Because I want to roll back a few minutes. You had mentioned when you started your business, a lot of the suggestions or comments that you were getting
Mhm.
was, not to share too much and
Yes.
don't give yourself away. And all of what that boils down to is, Nicole, don't be yourself, because being yourself isn't going to lead to a profitable business. And kudos to you for being able to reject that and tap into your intuition for your true self and being able to follow your calling, because, like, look at what it's turned into.
Oh my
And
gosh. Yeah.
it's clear whenever anyone steps into the circle, it's so clear that your intention is to provide assistance and value to people. And of course, we all know that you have paid programs. There's way people can
Oh yeah.
engage with you more, but that was, again, never the driver, never the end goal. And it just makes people want to be around you and makes the right people step up to say, that is
Yes.
someone I want to work with. That is someone
Yes.
I trust to give my money to. So it's
Yeah.
just a different perspective from business than I think we normally hear. But to me, it's so refreshing, because what we get from the conventional business advice is conventional corporate businesses. And there's a reason that CEO got shot. I'm not condoning it, let's be clear.
No.
But it's because of corporate greed, and it's because of following that philosophy of only do what's going to directly drive a dollar amount of ROI, and people come second. And now we're seeing exactly why that philosophy and mentality does not work. We, like, throughout industries across the board, need to see people returning to people first, profit second. And honestly, that is what this quote is underpinning for me.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. And it is because, if we don't take care of those in our charge, I mean, it's like, I love the way he worded this quote because he says it's about taking care of those in your charge. And it immediately made me think of our children.
Yes.
Right? Because I mean, just the way that that is worded made me immediately think about my kids and how, how do we lead our children? You know? And I guess that's a loaded question because there's lots of ways. But but the goal is to give them a good role model and give them a safe space to become who they are and all of these things. And I think, oh, what a great thing, because when I thought about that, I was like, yes, that's what I want for everybody. And not that I think
Yes.
that everybody in the world is my kid, but kind of I do. I'm getting to that age where it feels that way sometimes. Um, but everybody around me is kind of in my charge, right? And only just in the sense of, if you're in my world, I do have a sense of responsibility to you. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing for us as humans to feel a sense of responsibility to each other. Um, anyway, I love this quote. What are you thinking? You
Yeah.
guys in the chat have been a little bit quiet, but I see some comments over here. Um, let's see. Angie loves her local business accelerator. So again, another plug for that. If you're new, get connected with your local business community and see what's available as far as resources.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Um,
There's so much here that I didn't know until I had spent money trying to find answers. So don't be like me, guys, if you're just starting out.
right? I love it. Let's see. Angie also says what she says. Love all this. It's been interesting for her as a new entrepreneur to think about who you are leading and who is in your charge. And yeah, Angie, I would love to hear, like, what kind of new perspectives are you finding with that? Are you finding that you feel like everybody's in your charge? Because that's kind of how I feel. I kind of feel like a mama bear sometimes, with everybody coming into advocacy and getting started, and when new members come, like Michelle is new. I'm super excited. I wondered if you would be here. Michelle just joined yesterday. And so I'm always excited when new people, like, not just join, but then jump right in. And so it's great to see you here this morning, Michelle. And I can't wait for our call. I see you on my calendar, and I'm really excited about that. Because I feel like when new people come into the circle, there's this whole, you know, realm of community and support and resources and all of the things that I hear all the time from new members. I had no idea that this was out here and that people were doing this. So, so like I said, I kind of feel like I'd be interested to hear how you feel about that, Angie. Like, what are you finding? What are you finding in your community? Let's
But
see.
yeah, going back to the kid thing, yeah, I
Yeah.
absolutely identify with that. My son is almost 5 now. Ugh.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe
I
that.
know, I know. And
Oh, great.
for those who don't know, when my husband and I became, knew that we were going to become parents, we spent a lot of time and effort figuring out how in the heck we were going to do that, because we had experiences that we knew we wanted to do parenting different than how it
Mm,
had been done to us, and we weren't sure what that was going to look like. And it continues to develop. You never stop learning that stuff for sure.
right.
But so much of the techniques I've learned from, like, child psychologists and gentle parenting thought leaders are
Mm,
also the same. It's the same philosophy, but in a different package. When I also dive into, like, my personal development and, like, communication with between intimate partners, like, it's all the same.
yes.
And I think it's so interesting because when we're dealing with literal children, they lack the frontal lobe
Mm,
development to be able to have rational thought and conversation. And they really need you to lead emotional regulation. But frankly, most adults I interact with don't have emotional regulation. Some of them are not even aware that that's a thing, because, I mean, truly, when you get to my age and older, we were raised in an era where people
yes.
didn't know about emotional regulation. And I don't know,
Right.
I was raised that children are to be seen and not heard, and, like, we were just things and inconveniences. So
Mhm,
there's a lot of
right?
us there's a lot of us adults who still have a broken inner child that hasn't been healed. And so when we
Yes.
keep that in mind, And one of my core philosophies has become approach every situation with empathy first. And
Mm,
really stepping into, okay, that person is saying that thing or doing that thing that, is hurtful, but
yes.
why? Because usually it's not the intent to be hurtful. It's usually comes from some sort of injury or unmet need. And that's exactly what they talk about with like parenting toddlers. Tantrums come
Yeah.
from an unmet need or an inability to
Mm,
communicate something that's happened to them.
yeah.
It's just, it can be more challenging with adults because we expect that they can, verbalize that. But we know when you're in an emotional state, and you're in that fight or flight, it's really hard to pull out of that and get to the calm, rational, critical thinking. I
Yeah.
talk about this all the time with my advocacy work. Like that's part of the power of having an independent patient advocate, but it doesn't
Mhm.
stop in that situation. It applies across all.
True. So true. Kayla, as you were talking, one of the phrases that I heard earlier in my career that was really a game changer in regards to leadership and really taking care of those in my charge. And it's a simple statement of come from curiosity, not judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about this all the time across the board, like you just said. In leadership, yes, but in life, oh my gosh, yes, right? Because it's really easy for us to, well, why in the world did they do that? That was so stupid. Or I can't believe that whatever, fill in the blank. Like
Right.
you
Right.
choose what the story is, you know. And at the same time, I sit and go, wait, let's come from a place of curiosity instead of judgment and turn that around and say, I wonder why. I
Mm-hmm.
wonder
Mm-hmm.
how. I'm interested to hear more about because these are the things. And this is what I love is when we talk about this stuff, I'm like, yeah, I know everybody's going, yeah, Nicole, we all come from that place. I get it. We do. But are we acting on it? Right?
Mm.
Like we know it's one thing to know that I need to come from a place of curiosity. It's another to actually do it.
Right. And to
And
have
I
that
think
guide your conversation.
that's right. That's right. And I'll tell you, when I heard that quote, that phrase in regards to this type of leadership, this is servant leadership. This is what we're talking about, guys. We're talking about leading with service. And it is the game changer of life across the board in business, in personal relationships, like Kayla was saying, it is the game changer in life. And when we can harness that and and come from that place of curiosity and try to take care of the souls in our life, I'm telling you, amazing things happen, magic happens, the right people come into your world. I don't even know if I've ever told Kayla this. The truth is, every once in a while I get up and I go, what the heck am I doing and why am I doing this? My forehead is bloody and I'm tired and I'm exhausted. And I wonder if it's worth it. And then something happens. And I had this happen, I don't even know, a couple years ago. And I was ready to throw in the towel. And I was like, you know what? The circle thing isn't working. This isn't, nobody, like, it's just not working. And it's taking up so much of my time. And it's so, like, like I put so much of me into this and it just wasn't working. And then along came Kayla and said, hey, you know what? Do you want to do like a speed networking thing? We can do that. I'll help you. Then she said, hey, what do you think about a mindset Monday thing? I think that we could like get on and do this mindset Monday thing. And I'm not kidding, Kayla. I could bring in tears right now. You literally were one of those moments for me where you're showing up in my world. I was like, this is why I do what I do.
Hmm.
Now, there are lots of you in the circle that make me feel that way or have made me feel that way. Today, I'm just specifically thinking about Kayla because we're here doing this thing and she shows up and helps and supports and like in those moments consistently when I'm ready to like shut it all down and call it a day, I'm like, yeah, I can't because Kayla's not the only one. She may be the only one right here in front of me having this conversation, but I know that there's a community of advocates that need this, right? That when we show up and do Mindset Monday, it means something and it matters. So we got to do
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm.
So we got to do
Jules,
it.
no, you nailed it.
You
Jules
know?
said, okay, tears. I'm like, yeah. And chills.
True story, true story. And your people, you know, you all are my people, right? And so this is how I feel about you. And the truth is your people are out there waiting for you too. And that's the truth. They're waiting for you to show up. So that's why you got to keep doing what you're doing, right? And that's why you got to keep being who you are and showing up and doing the things. And it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. Like, no mistake about it. It is hard. And there will be days that you want to cry and stay in bed. Um,
But as
but
difficult
we'll
as
be
it
here.
is equally and oppositely as rewarding.
Yes. 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 Like I said, these are the moments things will happen and you'll be like, okay, I got to keep going. I can't quit now. I can't quit now. And it's like I said, this is the essence of servant leadership, right?
Yeah.
Like serving and bringing that forward. And I just don't think that there's another profession, or I hesitate to call us an industry because we're such a baby, but I don't think there's another area outside of healthcare that has this kind of heart and leadership in what we do. um, I don't know about you. I've been around healthcare for it's coming up on 40 years. And people are just freaking amazing people. You know, their jobs and their roles may not be so amazing, but
Right.
but as people, amazing. So I love this. I don't even know what our call to action is supposed to be. And I don't even know if I covered anything on my notes for today's quote, but we are running out of time. So help tie this up for us, Kayla.
My call to action is to start to find ways and exercise your depth of empathy. I mean radically deep empathy. And I'm gonna share a small story to give you an example of what I'm thinking of, and then I want you to think about how you can apply that much depth to the work with your clients, with the healthcare providers that you're interacting with on behalf of your clients, or if you don't have clients, yeah, the other people you're interacting with to build your business. There is a woman, her name is Annie Grace, and she's she used to have an unhealthy relationship with alcohol, and she found a different path than what you hear about in kind of the mainstream quitting philosophies. It's based in neuroscience and cognitive behavioral therapy, etc.
Mm,
But her approach is also deeply rooted in empathy. And it's funny, one of the things that she says all the time is curiosity without judgment. So it was you saying that brought this to my mind. But I was listening to one of her podcasts a couple weeks ago, and she was sharing how at the root of all addiction, alcohol, drugs, whatnot, it's really an act of self-love.
mm.
And we don't hear that when we hear people talk about drug addicts. Like they're typically, cast as dirty, despicable people who are out to
Mhm.
ruin their life and all of that around them. But when you really stop to think about it, anybody who is seeking a substance, they're trying to heal some kind of pain that they don't have the coping mechanism for. The substance use isn't the problem. It's the symptom of a deeper problem. And it's when we approach people with substance issues in that light that we can even begin to start healing.
Mm.
And then when we approach in that way, that's actually the people who you hear the recovery stories about.
Yeah. Right.
Not these forced interventions and, what's the judgment and shame and blah, blah,
Right.
blah.
Yeah.
But on the surface, you hear, oh, addiction is an act of self love. Most people, I think the hairs on the back of their neck stand up, or they go, how could you
Mm.
say something, such a crazy thing? So if that was your reaction, you are not alone. And
Right.
also, I invite you to think about what I said after that and that level of depth of empathy, and then how you can apply that to your work.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You
Because that is how we need to take care of people, that down deep.
yes. I love that, and it's so, so true. So true. This has been great. This has been good. So for last week, we had very differing opinions on the quote. This week, we like came together and rallied around it. So you just never know what you're going to get here on Mindset Monday. But what you will get is some inspiration and some positivity to kickstart your week. We guarantee that. So take care of yourselves. Take care of those around you. Work on developing and going deeper with your servant heart, and know that that will lead you wherever you're supposed to be. It will also bring those who are supposed to be part of your world into your world. Know that this is absolutely safe, and those of us that have implemented it are having lots of success and fun around our life, and you can too. So don't be afraid like I was. Take some courage, move into your empathy, and serve those around you. Serve first, profit second. We will be back next week with another episode, another quote on, I don't even know. Next week we'll be talking about what? Perseverance, resilience, and adaptability. So in the meantime, have a great week. Hope to see you on our call Wednesday, and we'll talk to you later. Bye guys.
Bye bye.